Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and it's a Hwayoung showcase, which is like not something I expected to ever say again, but here we are. She's buffed. This is my Hwayoung. She's kind of on spare gear. You can definitely make yours better. Like I would aim for about like 5k attack and the speed break point you want to hit, and then as much bulk from there. But I just wanted to test her. So like she's on random gear. She can use a bunch of artifacts. Mine's just on Spirit Purification because it helps make up for the lack of attack on mine. And the random CR push like helps you if you're like up against Karinas or whatever. Anyway, if you're looking for a TLDR guide, like here's a handy dandy chart that you can look at. Basically, she's much more defined as like a mid-speed killer, like Candy, Aophine, Lionheart, Ocean Breeze, Uluka. And yeah, she needs immunity set more than ever, but let's get into it. Like, subscribe, there's a Discord, all that stuff. I think she does need an EE though. Like if she had like a 14% attack EE plus like S1 cycling, I think that would be really good. But yeah, I do miss the days when Hwayoung S3 would like one-shot tanks, would one-shot DPS even on a miss, one-shot your entire family, but you know, it is what it is. I guess we did need her to be a bit more balanced because when Hwayoung was meta, like that era was defined by like DPS were so hard to pick because they needed to either be APOC on POV or have stealth or guiding light, or else they would die to Hwayoung. Because like there's clips you can find on YouTube where Hwayoung would basically soulburn S3, blow up the tank, soulburn S1 like into an evasion unit and blow it up with Tooth and the S1 proc, which is like at the time kind of admittedly funny, but like in hindsight it was like incredibly toxic, so I can't really doubt them here. My opponent decides to pick Zio plus DDR, but the bans like kind of tell me that this guy is not going to be that aggressive, so I decide to go like pretty ham and pick Celius plus Tenny. Like if my opponent went like Rand plus Jacko here, I would have been pretty cooked, but spoiler alert, my opponent decides to like tank down a little bit with LRK plus Green Celine, and this is like a perfect test case for Hwayoung here. So I'm gonna pick Hwayoung because Hwayoung's like pretty good into most of the first three. Like it's not great into Zio, but I do have Doctor's Bag, and you know, Hwayoung will allow me to one-shot either DDR or Celine, just raw dog, which is pretty nice. And my opponent picks Lionheart Sermia here, which is like such a non-factor that I can just choose not to ban it. And my opponent decides to ban Midlight Galililius because she kind of hard counters my opponent's team, except for like DDR, I guess. But I had Steny or Hwayoung to deal with those. And yeah, this is like the ideal use case. So Hwayoung, especially since she relies on an attack differential, and Vigor plus attack down basically gives you the max attack differential like you could have. Celius just makes Hwayoung like infinitely better. So like if you're a Celius spammer and you play aggressive somehow, I would highly recommend it. But yeah, we just provoke the Celine. We push up here with Beatom. Like the attack buff is kind of wasted on Hwayoung because, you know, she gives herself attack buff. But, you know, it's always nice to get a CR push. Like, can't really complain. We go for the S3 here onto the DDR. And let's just limit test. So this other K actually doesn't have mid. So we're able to do like 26k damage, which is basically what old Hwayoung used to do. But we needed attack buff plus vigor to recreate what she just raw dog did with like no attack buffs, which is like kind of insane. But that's fine. We're gonna blow up Lionheart because we have vigor and attack buff, and this is like basically like a Hwayoung is like the pinnacle unit of Aggro, where she just blows up the really threatening threats, and my opponent is just too crippled to continue. Like he can S3 here, but you see that S3 shield, right? It didn't even break Hwayoung's S3 shield, which I find incredibly hilarious. And now that it's just Celine left, we're able to kill it off with the Celius pull, and my opponent decides to FF out because LOK is not soloing this. Like, come on now. But yeah, like Hwayoung is like definitely usable. I don't think she is an every game type of unit, but she turned into like one of those like nice like 4 to 5 niche units that are pretty good. Like A Leica falls into this tier. Like I definitely don't think she's as good as A Leica, but I think she like answers a lot of units that I personally find annoying in aggro. Like if they slam Celine down that last pick, that's like pretty difficult for me to deal with. Or like Ocean Breeze Uluka, where I'm forced to push buttons. Like Hwayoung ignores the death buff, plus Hwayoung is red, so there's a really good chance that Ocean Breeze Uluka won't blind or silence her, which is pretty nice. But yeah, in the next game, my opponent bans like Lua again, so we're just back to picking Bunny Dom because Bunny Dom's like basically what DJB used to be in my previous builds, where it's like an aggressive CR pusher that cleanses. Well, Bunny Dom has her like ups and downs. Like she doesn't CR push with no eternus, but like she has some benefits where she like, you know, gives attack buff, which is so much more aggressive. But my opponent picks like typical fodder for Hwayoung here with Ocean Breeze plus LRK. Even though like Hwayoung's probably not gonna one-shot this LRK, it's just like a lot of threat. It's very threatening because she can definitely dent LRK to the point where something else will kill it. And yeah, like as I said, Hwayoung is just like the quintessential aggro unit where she just kind of deletes important units. So my opponent's team is just crippled because I can just build to counter here on the 4-5. My opponent decides to pick a bunch of blue units, which is not bad because like fun fact, so you know the frenzy where what's it called? The frenzy where if you're at a disadvantaged element, you do 30% reduced damage. That exists because Rimuru and Hwayoung would just show up and one-shot your DPS and not care about elements. I could actually ban the Stenny here if I was sane, but I'm obviously crazy, so I just decided to go for the ban onto LRK. We ban Mit Go because we're a cleaver apparently. And my opponent decides to ban DDR because if I banned Ocean Breeze Luca and DDR got through, his team would just be slept for the entire match. So my opponent smartly decides to ban DDR. And I'm going to do something very unethical to this guy, where I'm just going to blow up, you know, like it's basically going to be the repeat of the first match, where I just blow up 2 members of the team and then the 2 people that are left just can't hold the team anymore. Yeah, we're going to basically do that. So my opponent doesn't know that the reason I'm able to pick Celius this confidently is because of my Celius has like 260 effectiveness with Circus. So I'm not afraid of what this Ocean Breeze Luca is gonna do because like what Ocean Breeze Luca has like 400 ER. Let's be for real, besties. But yeah, we push her out of here. Luckily land the important part, which is the redirected provoke. And now we're able to just ram our Green Lilius into Shu, and we, oh my god, just check out this damage guy. Like Green Lilius is also a unit that's like really nice with Lilius because she like blows up tanks and she benefits from Vigor in a unique way. Because it stacks with hack buff, we blow up Shu. Like it was so disgusting. But we push up, and now like look at that Spear of Purification tech. With our CR manipulation, we're actually able to push our Hwayoung above this Karina. And we blow up this Ocean Breeze Luca, which is pretty nice. And now that we have immunity, we're like pretty safe. And since we have Green Lilius to clean up this Karina, and due to the fact that we can't easily die to Stenny because Bunny Dom's here to prevent the soul burn, we're able to like cleanly push it up. But I'm really liking Hwayoung. Like I definitely like if I had the ability to create perfect year, like I would form a attack set plus immunity set for Hwayoung and go for like 5k attack, 230 speed, plus like as much bulk as I could, and I would run that. But maybe that's a little too much cooking. Like who farms attack set? Who farms golem? Just like a whole other conversation. But in the last match, my opponent finally decides to give me Lua, which is pretty nice. So we first pick Lua because we're cringe. They first pick Bellion, and they first pick Destina, which I find pretty strange because like whatever. But this is like Hwayoung fodder again, because what is Destina gonna do to Hwayoung? What is Bellion gonna do to Hwayoung? And so we basically just early pick Hwayoung because I think she's like a pretty safe DPS because she's somewhat element neutral. Like obviously if you're blue, her damage is lower, but it's not like negligible. My opponent picks Stenny, which makes me think that this Bellion is actually on Prot set and Aureus, because like that was a common pick for people last season. So that's telling me that this is a solo DPS Stenny draft right now. So all I need to do is draft to kill the Stenny, or at least like CC the Stenny. until I can kill them. And I'm kind of lost here, I'm not gonna lie, but I decide to pick... what do I decide to pick? I think the smart play here would have actually gone for a speed imprint plus like another DPS, so like a Weedred +1 situation, for example. But apparently I'm just crazy, and we just pick like the most insane picks ever. We pick Landy plus Ida because why? Like, I guess it makes sense because if I have books, I can prevent the Knockwall from doing anything by blowing up his team with Landy S3s, which is something nice, I guess. I don't care about the Celine because I have Hwayoung on my side, and I banned Destina in like what I can only describe as an incredibly psychotic move. But my opponent bans Bdom just so my Landy can't just dump all over his team with the prot set buffs and stuff. And if you look at the CR bar, it actually looks like this Knockwall is pretty slow. So Bunny Dom had a really good chance of outspeeding his team anyway. But basically, we open up onto Bellona. We just want to strip the immunity off so we can get the big isle on him if we can. But we do not care about Celine. And we just press our buttons because Hwayoung should be able to live this because of the elemental advantage proof that she created, which I think find like incredibly hilarious. Ida has no book, but that's fine because his units don't have immunity, which means my effectiveness Ida can hopefully stun them, and we stun the important target. Like, not stunning Bellion's like kind of annoying, but whatever, I'll get over it. We S3 on Landy, and then we just have to go for the kill onto Monk because Monk can bring everything out of stealth, and that's really annoying. If we check the damage differential here, pretty good. Like, doing 18k damage to a unit with Mitt is also nothing to be scoffed at. But Ida blows up here to the Celine because she has no bulk, because like if you're on an F Ida build, there's just like no other stats you can put into bulk. We get an RNG win dual attack there, but you know, my opponent decides to FF out there, but I think he would have lost anyway because Landy would have been able to cycle past this Hwayoung and then cycle past his Bellona, and then Hwayoung would have proceeded to just run down his team. So yeah, that's like really fun. But I don't want to sell this unit too hard because like I think that she definitely has her weaknesses, and I'm gonna showcase them here in like a really funny way. So Hwayoung's current weaknesses are she's weak against high attack DPS targets like Senya or MLKen if she can't get attack down or vigor herself. She's weak against units with like 30k HP because they're just too bulky for her to just kill with S3. And she is also weak to getting like controlled or cleaved, and she's like semi-weak against water units. Like, she's not super threatened by Karina, but if she isn't able to put up immunity, like she easily gets one shot by Karina, which is not nice. But basically in this match, I go for like the very standard regular DPS angle, DPS aggro angle of like a Celius plus Bdom. My opponent picks 2 green units, so I feel like really comfortable picking Hwayoung here. And then I decide to pick Stenny because Stenny is like pretty neutral, but I think that was a mistake in hindsight because now my opponent is free to do some very unethical things to me. He picks Spez, which is like another breakout star of this patch, which is like the weirdest thing I've ever said on this channel, of Spez being actually good. But then my opponent for the last pick picks a unit that I've never seen before. Like, I think this is a new ML unit that just hasn't been released. But if you don't get the joke, basically Taeyu was released back when Hwayoung was in their like heyday to counter Hwayoung, and let me tell you, Taeyu did an incredibly terrible job because he was bad against Celius, he was bad against like other non-attack openers because he was bad against Rand too, and then a lot of the time Hwayoung just kind of ignored him and killed his team anyway because her S1 did like incredible bullshit amounts of damage. But I decide like Taeyu is pretty easy to kill, like his star sign is warrior and it's like pretty trash, like how hard could it possibly be? But basically his Leica outspeeds me, which is not surprising because my Celius is not that fast because she's only meant to have incredible amounts of effectiveness, but basically my whole team's asleep, which kind of sucks. But whatever, we can't really press buttons here because Taeyu is just gonna cleanse them. So I think what I should have done is I should have banned Green Leica, and maybe I would have done a little bit better. Like a little bit, maybe. But yeah, basically Taeyu's about to go and press S3, like cop that HP and being 15k somehow, which is like, what the fuck? But pardon my French, but we're just gonna move on. But he resets Hwayoung because she's the highest attack, and this is what Taeyu was supposed to be doing. And we're basically just kind of losing to Taeyu in 2024, which is like a wild statement to say. But thanks to me not having attack buff and Taeyu being incredibly bulky, plus having S-Core, plus having Adamant Shield, this Taeyu survives an S1 plus S3 combo from Steny, which is already like incredibly disgusting. And now Leica's able to S2 here and just blow up our Lilias. And we get the CR push onto our Hwayoung, but I don't think it matters too much because like look at this damage. We're losing to Taeyu in 2024, and basically like the match is over. Like I cannot beat this team before. I think even Leica could solo my team at this point just by like pressing S3 and speed downing and slowly tripping our team down to death. But yeah, now that Taeyu's able to get defense buff from Ocean Breeze Luca, like there's no way in hell we're winning. But you know, if you just somehow win a game with solo DPS Taeyu in 2024, I might as well let you enjoy it. So we're basically just watching Taeyu kill our team somehow. I'm kind of hoping and praying that I somehow kill this Taeyu, but like obviously we do not, because why would we? With Escort plus Ice Cream plus like defense buff, like it's a little too hard. So I could press S3 here, but there's no point. We don't get the sleep, but like again, the sleep really did not matter here. They get a lucky dual attack, so we're just gonna call this loss an RNG loss and not getting outdrafted and losing to Taeyu in 2024. So yeah, thank you for watching this RNG loss. But I'm just kidding. It was just really funny to lose to Taeyu in this. Oh my god, losing to Taeyu, losing to that joke of a unit is just like incredibly funny. But you know, it happens. That was just like limit testing, so like that was definitely a hole in my drafting. But we love our flop era, and he kind of kills us with the second S3. Well, not kills us, but like this is gonna kill us. And yeah, that's it for the Hwayoung showcase. If you're looking for an aggro unit that's good against mid-health DPS units and is like kind of safe because of her defensive passives, like give Hwayoung a try. And yeah, that's it for today's video. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.